It's very easy for you to be charged with domestic violence because if you get into an argument with your wife or your wife gets angry with you and she calls the police, then the police are going to come out to the scene and automatically they're going to separate the two parties. But the problem is, when the police are trying to separate two people, the only way that they can separate the two people is to charge one of them with domestic violence. And so it's extremely easy for you to be arrested for domestic violence. And then once you're charged with domestic violence, even if you actually didn't assault your wife, you have to now convince the state that you're not an abusive person, because generally the state is used to seeing the same story over and over again. And so you have to convince them that you don't pose a threat to your wife. Even if you are charged with domestic violence and you did commit domestic violence, it still may be possible for you not to be convicted. And it's important to avoid a conviction, because if you have a conviction for domestic violence on your record, people may be nervous about hiring you for a job, or that will reflect poorly on you. If you're convicted of domestic violence, you may not be able to own a gun. Or if you're convicted of domestic violence and you're going through a divorce, you may end up having to give a greater portion of your earnings, or you may end up having to give a greater portion of your community property to your spouse. So it's extremely important that if you're charged with domestic violence that you hire an attorney. I've been defending people charged with domestic violence since 1997. So if you've been accused or you've been charged with domestic violence, call me and I'll give you an honest assessment of your case.